All right, audited 10,000 sales calls, and here's where businesses lose the most money. Hey, my name is Taylor. I have scaled 50 plus different sales teams personally, worked with hundreds of sales teams. I've done 15,000 sales calls. I've managed 100,000 sales calls. I was Hormozi's first sales rep at Gym Launch, and I like getting customers. If you watch this whole video, the goal is for by the end, you'll know some of the main patterns or things to understand when it comes to your sales reps and their performance, because obviously you might not have the time to review 10,000 calls over 12 or so different industries over the last 15 years. So of course, all these videos on YouTube, right, is for you to fast track and get information and insight from others who have already walked the path before you. So the first thing that I've noticed with sales teams and why businesses lose money is, I'll listen to the SDR calls, I'll listen to the closer calls, etc. And I'll just start to notice right away that there's no succinct process or script. There's no sales process to the sales motion. Everyone's winging it and saying their own stuff. Here's obviously the problem with that, because you can have your documented SOP and your documented scripts, but if your guys aren't following it, or they say they're following it, but they're really not, that's not good for you, because essentially what that means is you now are getting results from sales reps based on them doing their own process, which you can't duplicate now or teach to other people. And in fact, it requires you, in order to scale your sales team, which is how you would scale your business, so you can close more new units, is you have to go find unicorn sales reps who also have their own unique process that works for them. So that's always the first thing that I realized. The setters, they're not actually following a script and a process. And that's the first issue, let alone following the script or process like they're supposed to in terms of with the right pauses, the right tone, etc. So, there needs to be a process and a script behind that process, right? So if your closers don't have a sequence of here's how we frame the call, here's how we do discovery and figure out the situation or the facts, here's how we identify the pain or problem that the prospect is aware to, here's how we future pace them on the solution that they want to have, here's how we pitch and present our services, here's how we ask for the sale. Right? If that's not outlined and your guys aren't being trained and held accountable to that process, I can guarantee you they're not doing it. Because even when you have good systems and accountability in place, it takes directed effort to keep your reps following that process, right? So that's number one. The next thing I always notice is there's just not enough sales activity from the reps. And I can see that from the CRM. The SDRs are not doing enough dials each day. The closers are not doing enough follow-up. They're not asking for referrals. They're not confirming appointments. I just don't see enough activity with nurturing the leads, nurturing the appointments, nurturing the pipeline. Everyone in your sales organization obviously needs to be doing a lot of activity outside of just selling, right? And I think about this in terms of like revenue hours, right? How do I create an environment where my team is spending their time producing revenue? For a closer, that's seeded calls, right? So like showed calls where they are presenting the offer, they're making an offer. I want them doing that for as many hours a day as possible. Now, when they're not, I need to go up the next rung. How do I get more of these appointments to show so I can present? If that's not happening, I go up the rung. How do I get more of the leads to book appointments? And then I go up the rung. How do I generate more leads, right? Because whether you're doing cold calling and outbound to generate leads, from a target list that you scraped, or if you're doing paid ads or something like this, then what role would the sales reps have in generating more leads and opportunities? But I'm trying to push everybody down to that bottom revenue producing time. But if they're not in that revenue producing time, they need to be in the rung above it that creates that revenue producing time. And I have to tell you, like most teams that we audit and we look at, it's like ghosts in the CRM. someone came in. There's plenty of automations, right? The AI and the machines are doing a bunch of stuff, but the sales reps aren't doing crap. And the problem with that too, and I think this is actually maybe a different issue outside of what I'm talking about in this video, a lot of entrepreneurs or salespeople, they lean a little bit too heavy on automation and AI. And here's the problem with that. I'm not saying it's bad. We use AI a lot, especially in call reviews and CRM analytics and even CRM updating, right? Like you can have AI update the CRM based on transcripts and other triggers and stuff like that. But the problem with relying on automation and AI too much is because people know it's AI and know it's automation, it really does become white noise. And then they just don't care because they know it's not a human, right? I always use the example, like, I remember the first time I went through Panda Express. Gotta love that orange chicken. First time I went through Panda Express where they had the AI order taker and you weren't actually talking to a human anymore. I found myself getting frustrated and be like, yeah, this is my order. No, double chicken. Yeah, more orange chicken. Yeah, Diet Coke. No, I said Diet Coke, right? And I'm like, get through this. Because I know it's AI, so I have no problem kind of being a jerk because I'm just talking to a machine. Versus if it's a human, even when I like go through a drive-thru, I'm like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, yes, please, thank you. I'm like, I'm polite and I'm respectful because I know it's another human being on the other side. So you have to realize that like when you're sending messaging to prospects, if it's all AI slop and automation, and it's very clear, which by the way, if you're trying to pretend to be human with AI, you might be out of compliance most likely, and you don't want to do that. So be compliant. But people don't want to let down people. And if I give you my word, I'm going to show up, I'm more likely to hold up to that word because I told another human being I would do it. So, tell your sales reps, like confirming appointments, calling the leads, sending in, personalized texts and emails, etc. It's really important. The next thing that I found with like auditing all of these calls is sales reps just don't handle objections and concerns super well. They just kind of lay down, right? And so, I'll hear a closing call and they're like, yeah, I just need to think on, okay, no problem. Yeah, what time do you want to follow up next week? It's like, dude, try and handle that. Think about it, objection, like a little, like, can you push back like once or twice? Dude, Lord, like push back a little bit more, trying to overcome the concern. But for whatever reason, so many sales teams and sales reps are so uncomfortable like handling objections and concerns. And sometimes it comes from the entrepreneur, like, hey, we don't want to be pushy. We don't want to sound like salespeople. It's like, great, I don't either. I don't want your reps to sound like salespeople. But also, I don't want you like missing out on revenue and more importantly, not helping a person who needs your guys' help. Because your freaking sales rep won't handle a simple concern. So the objection handling, and this goes for setters too. Hey, I'm busy, send me an email. Okay, yeah, yes sir. Yeah, what's the best email address? Okay, great, I just sent it to you, have a great day. It's like, dude, just be like, yeah, I'm happy to send you an email. We don't really do anything cookie cutter though, so it'll be pretty generic. Can I just ask you a couple quick questions so I can get the information that you need? It's like a simple pushback to keep them on the phone and not send the freaking email, right? So handling objections and concerns is something. It's like, oh dude, my sales reps, they're so good at handling objections. Well, when I listen to their calls, they're not. They just lay over and die, and they play possum. So that would be another big one. The last one that I find interesting is I notice when I listen to sales calls, the salespeople are trying to act so professional or so serious in their calls that it ends up making them sound salesy and hurting their sales because they're not sounding like themselves, they're sounding like a real person. Like when I do sales, and obviously like my way is not the only way to do it, I'm very casual on myself, I crack jokes, like I try and make it very easygoing and chill. And I also don't like taking myself so seriously because I kind of have like the mental aptitude of a 4-year-old. So like I just tell sales teams and sales reps like, dude, you need to have more fun. Can you just enjoy your sales call a little bit more? Like you're talking to another person. And you're talking about stuff that you know. Like, have some more fun. Like, crack some jokes. Make the person's day. And it's interesting when I like train sales reps to just like be themselves and not this caricature of themselves, and like that's so professional. It's like, yeah, okay, and how does that make you feel exactly? And what's the best email I can send that to? It's like, dude, show up tight, pull the stick out of your butt, and just have a little bit more fun. You know, is this how you talk to your friends? You know, like if you see your buddy like at the bar and you're gonna play pool, you're like, hello sir, how's your Monday going? My Monday's pretty good. Well, I'd like to get into our conversation today. Would that be okay with you? It's like, no. Be like, dude, what's up? How's it going, man? How was your week? Nice, dude. Hey, how's your wife doing? I remember blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, it's just more chill. So these are the things that I notice, and some of these, in your opinion, you might feel like, man, these are not super big takeaways. But you have to understand, if you stack all of these in a row, you have a process that is outlined and being followed, and it's being held accountable that the reps are following it. And you stack that with actually handling objections and not being a pushover. And you stack that with doing the activities in the CRM that are required, right? And you stack that with, hey, don't sound like a robot and sound like a human being. You can imagine how these things being all added together can make a salesperson and then an entire team perform at a much higher level. Now, obviously all this takes work and input, but hopefully these insights and takeaways are helpful for you. If you want us to do an audit on your sales team, we do that. Or if you want to get our sales machine or sales team playbook, you can grab that in the link below. It basically has everything that you would need in terms of scripting, how to script stuff for your offer, how to recruit, how to manage, how to onboard reps, how to train reps, how to handle objections, how to build an outbound team, all that kind of stuff. So that way you can build an elite sales team in your business and, you know, help more people, make more money, all good things. Catch you on the next video.